Righto, Talio there champs and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be looking at the Surface laptop, and there's been plenty of reviews of the Surface laptop, so you can check any of those reviews out. But what I'm going to talk about is a lot of things that other reviewers did not cover, and I'm going to talk about what I like, what I don't like. So first of all, the build quality is fantastic on this thing. It's next level. It is gorgeous, beautiful, it's so well crafted. I had nothing to complain about here. Beautiful aluminium exterior. Now you can actually open it up with one hand, which I don't like on a touchscreen because as you can see, the hinge is loose now. And yeah, when you pick it up, the screen will go back, and actually trying to touch it, it will wobble a bit more and even move because it has that loose hinge. So I'd prefer it to be stiffer and have to open it with two hands, to be honest. Open it up though and you're greeted by that gorgeous pixel display there. Pixel Sense display. It really is fantastic. Super bright, contrast, color accurate. It really is a top-notch display. It actually does sort of look like a Surface in that way. It actually looks like a tablet with a keyboard attached, but overall display is fantastic. And open it up and you get that beautiful Alcantara finish there. Now this finish is fantastic. I really do like it. A lot of people are concerned of its longevity. Look here. This is a Surface Pro 3 cover, so it's like 3 years old, and you'll see it's in such great condition. It has been used daily. There's no stains on it. The wear is on the trackpad. Overall, it does look fantastic for its age, and it's worn very well. And actually, if I drop some water on it, you'll see it beads. And that's because with these fabric materials they use on the Surface, they are actually, I'll say Scotch guarded. That's a brand, but they have some sort of stain protection. I'll drop some waters on the Surface laptop's Alcantara finish here, and you can see it beads straight away. So there is that protective sort of Scotch guard like coating. So even if you spilt Coke or even red wine, it's going to bead first. Now the thing is, get it off as quick as you can. Dab it, do not rub it, but it will bead first. And when you dab the liquid off, it's absolutely bone dry. It doesn't actually absorb into the fabric material. So I don't have any issues of its long-term use. But what does annoy me is when I use the trackpad and my fingers go to the edge of the trackpad and then they rub on the Alcantara finish, the edge between the trackpad and the fabric finish there, it's an unpleasant feeling because it's sort of raised a little bit and there's an edge there and it's a bit rough and it just doesn't feel nice. That's my only issue. Maybe that will wear in within time. Maybe they could make it more flush so it doesn't feel so unpleasant. Now in terms of specs here, I have the i5 15 watt 7th generation Kaby Lake processor in here. The i7 has the Iris graphic. So if you really want the most powerful and the most graphically powerful, so you can play games at higher frame rates and so on, get the Iris version, the i7 version. That being said, you're only going to be playing casual games. Yes, you can get away with Overwatch and stuff like that. 720p, low settings. Check out my gaming review and you'll see more about that. I have 8GB of RAM and 256GB SSD in here. And talking about the SSD, its read speeds are alright because its read speeds are pretty fast. It will be snappy. Everything will be fast, things will load fast, but the write times on this are seriously slow. We're talking less speed than a SATA SSD here, like 300 megabytes per second write. That is so poor on a laptop that, starts at $999 US, or in Australia it's virtually nearly $2,000 starting point. I mean, Microsoft can pretend that they're Apple all they want to, but unless they put the best components in their computers, they're not Apple. I mean, Apple sometimes might give you a bit of older hardware, but it will be the best of the older hardware. These write speeds for something so expensive, as I said, day to day you're not going to notice it, but me being a bang for buck specs wise, yeah, I don't like that they put such a slow SSD in there. And another bad point is the one port wonder, one USB. Like seriously, in 2017, one USB. I mean, I've been hard on the Mac for being all Thunderbolt 3, but come on, one USB, that's just mind-boggling. I don't know what they're doing, whether they're just deliberately doing this so the OEMs can undercut them and so they don't cut their lunch. I have no idea. But in saying that, if I gave this computer to my wife, she wouldn't even care about Thunderbolt 3 or having more USBs. She'd love it. So there are people, it's not going to matter that it just has one USB. You won't hear the fan. Like if you're just using it for regular productivity, Word, Excel, YouTube, something like that, you're never going to hear the fan. It will literally be fanless. If you game, you will hear there actually is a fan in there, but it barely got over 60 degrees even under load. So thermals are well controlled and you can't even really hear the fan. Like, it is the quietest fan. And in that regard, this is like best in class in terms of cooling, best in class in terms of noise. Like, you will never hear it. Doesn't matter, I've reviewed a lot of 13-inch laptops and most of them you're going to hear the fan. This one you hardly ever hear it, and when it is on, it's so quiet it's not even worth mentioning. So I definitely want to see other OEMs pick up on what Microsoft have done here in terms of thermals and making it really quiet. It's not overheating too, and I haven't seen any evidence of it throttling, so you're getting full performance and it's quiet, so that's a fantastic thing. Now, it did come with Windows S. If you know that Windows S just limits you to apps bought in the store. It's meant to compete with Chromebooks and stuff like that, trying to keep you safe inside a walled garden called Microsoft Store. You cannot install stuff that's not approved by Microsoft, and it is safer. But I think for most people, they're going to upgrade to the Pro, which will cost you $50. It's free now, but in a year's time, I think it's $50. So that's something to mention there too. Now, some people can get away without using Windows Pro, but not me. I actually wonder if my wife could. No, I think she'll need Photoshop and Illustrator. Nah, she couldn't either. So yeah, it's pretty useless to me, this Windows S, but I can understand in a scholastic, education situation, yes, it makes sense. Or even just trying to limit your children to what they do, that makes sense as well. Now, battery life on this is fantastic. I really do like the battery life. I'll get 9 hours out of this, no problems. Like, I can even maybe push it to 10. Like, I had it on for 2 days once and the battery lasts for 2 days. Look, I wasn't using it that much, but it's really good. The standby time's really good. Just close it, open it, whatever. It's fantastic in that way. They've really tuned it well. It just sips on power. Standby time's really great. Resume time's really great. It is a great laptop in that regard. So overall, I think this is a fantastic laptop, beautifully crafted. It is expensive. For me, the 1 USB and the slow SSD speeds and not being upgradable, you've got to remember you cannot upgrade this. So once the battery dies in a couple of years' time, it's ready for the bin. Like, you cannot literally replace the battery, you cannot replace the SSD, everything's soldered. Basically, the two things that are most likely to fail are the SSD and the battery over time, and once that fails, you're finished, you're done, in the bin. It will be uneconomical to repair, if you could even repair it at all. So just think about the longevity of your phone. How long of your phones last before the battery starts playing up? That's about how long this will last before you basically have to buy a new one or have it plugged into power all the time. So this is a great laptop for someone like my wife. Doesn't care about ports. She doesn't care about the SSD speed or being able to upgrade it. It'll last her 5 years maybe, as long as the battery holds up. But for me personally, I can't recommend this over other 13-inch laptops. I would rather get a MacBook Pro without touch or an XPS 13 rather than this. As beautiful as it is, and it's a great first attempt, but yeah, for me, they've got to get the port situation sorted, and I want a faster SSD in there. So that's it. That's my mini review of the Surface Book laptop. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If this video is helpful, give me a thumbs up. I've got lots more tech content coming soon, and until next time, guys, tally ho.